What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a review for you. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is a brand new model, and I think this is pretty exciting because this is from a designer up until now that's been very pricey to experience his design language. What are we looking at? We have the Civivi ExOne, designed by Brian Brown. Really interesting. Very excited to check this one out. What are we doing today? We're going to be doing some size comparisons, profile comparisons, weighing the knife, and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. Let's kick it off with some size comparisons. All right, guys, this is a budget-friendly knife, so we're going to kick it off with a couple of budget comparisons. We have the Acorn, which is pretty much almost identical in size. A little bit more length on the back there with the ExOne, and it is a little bit smaller than the Kilo. Let's do a couple more size comparisons. All right, on the table we got the Vosteed Hedgehog, which I think goes toe-to-toe with the ExOne, and you have the Vosteed Psyop. So you can see this is definitely more what I would constitute as a small-sized EDC, Wrap 1, Elementum size, if you're more familiar with those, drop bear type size knife. Let's do some profile comparison. All right, we're checking it out. Closed, you can see I would pretty much call this even. You could argue that it's a little bit bigger than one, a little bit smaller than the other, but it's so close to me. I'm just going to go ahead and call it pretty even with these. And then when you consider the thickness, it's very much identical to what you're seeing here on the Hedgehog. And then we're going to check it out against the Psyop, and even with the contoured scales, you can see that is pretty much even. What about the weight? Let's grab the scale and check that out. All right, we got the scale here. What are we coming in at? We're coming in at 3.4 ounces on the knife. Let's take it down to the garage real quick. We're going to do a little bit of cutting with it, get in a couple of scenarios to give you an idea of what you can expect when you pick this one up. All right, guys, we're in the garage with the ExOne. Let's see what type of cutting this does today. We're going to start it off with a paper test. I have a little bit of catalog paper still here from the last time. Hollow ground Nitro V from Civivi. I imagine this has probably got a very nice factory edge. They usually do a really good job. I'm not detecting any blemishes as it slices through the catalog paper very well. Let's go ahead and start it off with the zip tie. So keeping it straight up and down, going about in the middle here. I can't quite get it there. So I'm going to bring it back here and hope that I am still somewhat on the camera. Nope, I am not. Let's try. Can you see it right here? There we go. Okay, so we're going to use the edge here just so I can get low and get to the middle part here and just test it out. And it's rocking a little bit because I have too much stuff on the table. Yeah, so very nice edge. Bites right in there. Cuts it with no issues whatsoever. So I'm going to grab a denim roll here. And with this denim roll, it's rolled nice and tight. I think with the tip of this, we should be able to get through here. Plus, it's a hollow grind. Yeah, absolutely no issues getting through there. And actually went way deep into the cutting board. So probably doesn't need as much pressure as I'm putting on there. Yeah, very good edge. And the hollow grind seems to move through the material very nicely. Very nice indeed. And then we'll finish it off with everyone's favorite. How does it feel going through the cardboard? It's a laser beam. Wow. What a laser beam, guys. Not going to do a ton of cutting with it. It is Nitro V, like 14C28N. It's not going to be an edge retention monster. It will cut for a very long time, but it's not going to hold a fine edge for a very long time. I am feeling that pocket clip a little bit, but I'll save that for the desktop. Let's go ahead and kick it back up there and go over all of that. All right, guys, that was pretty impressive down there in the garage with the cutting. We're going to circle back to that in just a second. Let's go ahead and check out the spine whack on this one. Yeah, I was worried about that with that coated blade, and I haven't disassembled this one at all. So before we do any more, let's just try really quickly to see if we can get in here and clean off the lock bar interface. And we're going to do the disassembly We'll do one more here with the lock bar interface clean. We'll do the disassembly, clean it really well, and then check it again. Your lockup is looking at like 20% on mine as well. Yeah, so it is easily failing that. So instead of continuing to do it to see if it would do a third one, we'll go ahead and continue with the review. We'll do the disassembly, clean it, and then we'll bring that back out here for one more check. All right, ergos on this one were pretty good. It is more of like a 3.5 finger grip for me. I can't give it the full 4 finger because this angle back here is so steep for me that I'm really just kind of falling off. Outside of that, it's very comfortable. The pocket clip is rounded down, so I do feel it kind of poking in this area here, but it's not really a hot spot, guys. It didn't bother me at all during the cutting. And then the jimping lands really good right here. So medium to large hands, you're going to be really comfortable with this one. If you have anything bigger than larger, you want to try to leverage to use this up here in like a trigger pull position, and then you really are able to get 4 fingers and then just up to the first knuckle for me here to use this for cutting, which is okay. I think for a companion knife or secondary knife, it'll be just fine for that. D10 on here is really dialed nicely, guys. Look at how crisp that is. That is really crispy on the break. I really can't even get it to fail. That's me doing it lightly and then really quick. It snaps right out. Now, mind you, I have not done any of the disassembly or cleaning with this one. The fuller is done sharp enough to where you can easily get it to catch on the meat of the finger for that reverse flick. The best part about this one is it does work left-handed really well, and it does have the holes on the flat part of the scale to be reversed. So that's really cool as well. You got a really thinly ground Nitro V blade here. It moved through the materials really, really well. It's with it being so thin and so slicey, it's actually going to make that Nitro V hold its edge a little bit longer because it's going to have less material and resistance going through that. It just needs that initial bite. Very comfortable for the pinch grip as well. Really nice for that detailed work. This is definitely that reverse Tonto is a utility blade shape that's going to work really, really well. And again, for the detailed work, getting out here, just going up into that position with your finger over the flipper tab is going to be really nice for you to get in, do any type of decal cutting. If you don't want to go too deep into a package, you're trying to protect what's inside with it, it's going to work really nicely. It is locked up solid side to side and up and down, just wrenching on it. I'm not really feeling any wobble or any wiggle. Again, could be dirt debris in here, could be the coating on the steel liner as well, hasn't completely broken away. I've had the knife about a week. Not a real long time, but I really wanted to get the review out here for this one because it's brand new. I know it's sold out in a lot of places. It's available at the time of this recording at Blade HQ, and it's coming in at under $60, which I think is fantastic value for something that is designed by Brian Brown. Now, there are what I would say styling homage to their XM or to his XM, but it is definitely not a one-for-one of the XM. There's definitely some differences that are done here. What I would love to really see, I would love to see a X1 large. I would really love to see something where I can just come in here, get a full 4-finger grip, and have this piece here sticking out like it does in the trigger position. Just let this relax out here. It allows my palm to fall onto it, which I really do like a lot. Also, it's got really good texturing here. So the texturing on here is grippy without being too bad, and it doesn't feel like it's going to saw going in and out of the pocket, and it hasn't for me either. This fits really nicely in my pouch. It really does fit nicely in my organizer that I use for secondary carry, and it carries nicely in my jogging shorts and things like that. You know, the lightweight nature of it and the small nature of it keeps it relatively tight to the pants or tight to the leg and prevents it from flopping around. So I really do appreciate all of that. What do you say we go ahead and transition over to the disassembly, guys? Let's see what's inside, see if we can clean it up, and we'll test the spine one more time. There won't be any detent tuning though. I really like where it's at it feels plenty crispy as is. Let's go ahead and kick it over for the disassembly. Okay, guys, for the disassembly, I do recommend Weehaw Bits. We got everything that we need here. We got our cleaning cloth, we got our lube, everything ready to go here. I'm not going to check it for the skiffs because I'm pretty sure that they're the 5mm 3/64 ball, but I am going to go ahead in this instance, in case you're a lefty or you want to see what the scales look like for scale makers, and take off the pocket clip as well. Again, not necessary with this particular setup. You should be able to do it with just the other two screws. Actually, I'm going to take that back because it looks like the pocket clip is being blocked by the, I'm sorry, that back screw is being blocked by the pocket clip. So you will have to take that apart. See what I'm saying? That one there is definitely blocking it and preventing you from getting to that. A little bit of mark here, but how well does it clean off? Pretty good. Pretty good. I think this ivory white probably is going to hold up a little bit better to dirt and debris and stuff like that, because it already is kind of dingy looking. So if your hands are a little dirty handling this particular one, I don't think it'll be that bad. But I really do like the fact that it doesn't show up. And you have other options. You have a green micarta and a black G10. All right, so scale removed for my scale makers out there. You can see these are all recessed. You do have a little bit of a relief cut there for that liner lock. And boy, oh boy, look at this bright green scale here, that our liner here. That thing is crazy. So you can see it is pretty dirty. I am going to go ahead and clean it up and clean the blade up as best I can, and then we will test it one more time to see if it passes the spine whack. And you can see a little bit of the green coming off here. So it is painted on green. Let me try to make sure it's nice and clean. And I am just gonna a little bendy bend just to see if I can give it a little bit of extra tension to go towards the lock up there. All right, so let me go ahead, pay attention. Your bearings, these definitely are 5mm 3/64 ball, which is pretty standard from Civivi. But I say that in case anybody wants to order skiffs. Boy, you can see the green coming off on there too, that green paint. So I'm kind of glad that we're doing this. I have a feeling that it's really, man, look at all that green, guys. I think that's really going to improve the action on this one because it is a coated blade. I don't know if it's just regular paint or any type of special coating or anything like that. But let's go ahead and clean the other bearing off, which they feel really good. I just like skiffs better than stamped bearings because I think you get the extra ball for the extra smoothness, and then you get the stability and the pivot from that. So you got a little bit of dirt going on, and you got a little bit of the green paint everywhere. So let's go ahead and clean that. I might wash this cloth after this one, guys. Oh my goodness. Go ahead and clean that really well. I'm going to use my small 6mm Weehaw bit tool to get in here and clean these crevices here. And then I'm just going to use this here, see if it gets the detent ball hole clean enough. Oop. Yeah, it's definitely dirty. Might need the Q-tip. No, it came pretty clean. So I'm happy with that. What's left? We got to clean the pivot. Sticking to that G10. That is tight tolerances there. I don't want any dirt or debris or green paint on my pivot. And there was a little. There was a little. Now, this green paint seems to have gone away really quickly. But I would say you might want to check back after, another 6 weeks and do it again just to make sure that it's good and clean. I like Hops gun oil for my lube of choice. And the way that I typically put my lube on here is I put just a couple of drops on, and then I just kind of roll it in my finger there to get a nice coating on there, but not so much that it'll, come off onto the G10 and or micarta. All right, let's see here. I am crooked. Whoops, backspacer fell. We're straight now. Go ahead and put that backspacer back on. Didn't mean for that to fall off. All right, next we're going to go ahead and lube and make sure the open pocket faces the blade like it came out. And the fact that the open section goes into those pockets is just going to help prevent dirt, debris getting behind and underneath of the bearings. Sorry, I actually put a little bit too much there, so I'm trying to go up on the finger and make sure, oops, that I don't have too much lube there. Go ahead and drop this blade on down. Let me clean off that tip and put a drop right there for the detent ball. Hopefully that won't get on the lock interface, and I have plenty of lube left to get what I need on that other bearing. It doesn't need a lot, guys. These feel really good. I think it'll be really smooth. I think between lubing it and cleaning it, it'll be really smooth. Let me just start over here, because what was on my finger is now all over the blade, and I don't want that. Oh Lord, that came squirting out. I didn't mean to do that. All right, there we go. That should have been fast enough. All right, we're going to go ahead, reassemble it in the reverse order that we took it apart. All right, that feels good and locked up, feels nice and solid. Go ahead and put my scale on, and I'm just going to go ahead and get some of my hardware started in here. I believe this one was on the back. And that feels like it's going in pretty good. All right, let me turn this so you guys can see. We'll go from the back, tighten that on up. That feels really good and tight in there. We'll say that disassembly and reassembly super easy on this. You will need to take the pocket clip off 100% for this one. No play. We are centered. I think we can come a little loose though, because the action feels a little tight. All right, that was a little movement. No play. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, let's go ahead and put the pocket clip back on. And then that other one doesn't want to fall into play, but hopefully it won't make a difference as they land on the hole. I'm going to do the front one a little bit first, and then we'll do the back one and make sure that these are all lined up nicely. All right. Oh, the other thing too, the flat scales should allow the Civivi titanium pocket clip to fit on here if you'd like to scale it up just a little bit. A little loose. I do need to go back tight a little bit. A little loose. That might be too tight. All right, we are centered. Everything's tightened up. Let me clean this up and we'll go get the board for the spine whack retest. All right, guys, we have it cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and just close it and open it in front of you, and we're going to do it again about the halfway point. All right, locked up solid. Locked up solid again. Locked up solid. So 3 solid whacks to replicate the accidental spine whack after the disassembly and cleaning all of that paint and oil and everything off the knife. It is locked up solid, no side to side. Up and down looks good, and we are centered. I got a little bit of dirt on the blade there, but we are looking centered here to me in person. I'm not quite sure if on camera it is looking like it is centered to you guys, but it is coming across as centered to me. Feels good. That maybe that little bit of adjustment on the lock bar made it feel a little bit snappier on the detent. I don't know, but I really like this one for $60. I think it's really cool that you're able to experience a budget-friendly designer version of this knife. If it does well, maybe we'll see something from for a more premium version of it, and my true hope is that we'll also eventually, like the XL, if the community pushes enough and is vocal enough with maybe they'll do an X1 large. I'd really love that for us large hand folks to run in alongside the X1. I wouldn't want to replace it. Just give us both options. Let me know what you think about this one down in the comments below. Really cool to see this one here. I like it a lot. I think it's a great little companion EDC, or for folks with smaller hands, it's going to be a great little primary, great utility blade shape. Thanks for watching to this point of the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. And also, guys, I want to give a shout out to my channel members. Thank you for that extra layer of support that you guys provide. I really appreciate it. Remember to use those links down below. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.